buying into the notion that something happened that did not happen. You write of Jared Kushner, Rasputin in a slim-fitting suit, which is extraordinarily descriptive. There are a lot of writers I know who are jealous that they come up with that line. What was he like to work with?
He, like all of us, I want to say, I believe, changed as we went through the White House. And he got really heady with power. Jared Kushner had his own chief of staff. He hired his own staff. He did what he wanted, and nobody challenged him. Mick Mulvaney, or not Mick Mulvaney, I'm so sorry, Mark Meadows, when he started, he put a freeze on anybody who could, nobody could hire anybody in any department unless Mark Meadows specifically said yes. And Jared Kushner basically told him what he thought of that and got to do what he wanted. So that was, nobody ever challenged Jared. You couldn't. This was the president's son-in-law. So he would dive into these areas where I know he had absolutely no expertise and, claim to save the day, and then he would leave. And, there was a running joke in the White House that when things were getting really tough, they suddenly disappeared on vacations. He was tough to deal with, and I think he got really heady with power. I do not think he left there the best version of himself, and I believe that he and Ivanka kind of thought they were a shadow president and first lady.
Your nickname for them was?
The interns, yeah.
Melania Trump's nickname for Ivanka?
The princess.
You think Ivanka's a pretty smart cookie?
I think she's a very smart woman.
Who's the brains, Ivanka or Jared?
I think that Ivanka is the brains. I do believe that Jared is an intelligent man, but I think that Ivanka is she's very controlling of her image. She's very controlled in what she does. She is very calm, which is unlike her father, and I think that she's the smarter one.
You also said that you think that they thought they were the royal family.
Yes, I do. When we went to the state dinner with the Queen, they thought that they should be involved in every single thing that the president and first lady were doing, and it was really inappropriate. And our last foreign trip to India, it was the same thing. They were negotiating what stops we would make. And they were involved in tours that Modi was giving the former president and first lady. And there they were too. They were always right there. And it was really inappropriate. And that would make Mrs. Trump upset because she is a big rule follower in terms of protocol and whatnot. And it was just really inappropriate. So we in the East Wing would do what we could to stop it or mitigate it. But at the end of the day, it's his daughter and son-in-law, and nobody could work around them.
You physically blocked them from entering the State of the Union behind the First Lady.
Yeah, that was it wasn't exactly a mature move to do, but she was going through the Stormy Daniels stuff at the time.
Melania was.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes. And I think I and her chief of staff at that time, we were really protective of her. And Mrs. Trump had gone to the State of the Union ahead of the president. And one was to get her guests there early, but I think two was that she wanted to go alone. And so I was feeling protective. And so her former chief of staff and I, we raced out of the motorcade and literally physically blocked them so that Mrs. Trump could have her moment and walk in. It worked for maybe 3 minutes, and then their Secret Service pushed us aside, but we got our job done.
All right. We have still more questions for you, Stephanie, including, I think, the hard questions about your role in all this. And you write about it, but what responsibility you take for what happened over the last 6 years and whether you think you could or should have done more. So